Make sure this is our blank scene when you start up Blender. I'm going to press A to select all, just hit delete. I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to bring in an image, a reference. Let's bring in an image reference. I do have some files. Oops. Here, I was a bit more prepared this time. There you go. So, we're now brought in our image. I'm going to press N on my keyboard. Let's go to item and let's just set the x-axis to 90 and then y to 0, z to 0. There you go. And we're just going to push that GY, push that back on the y-axis. And let's just press S to scale that up, make that a bit bigger, GZ, and bring that up. So now our image is in place. Let's get started. So I'm just going to close that by pressing N. So first things first, looking at the chest of drawers, it looks like a bunch of cubes, and then a bunch of loop cuts we'll be using to create the drawers. And then we'll be using maybe spheres or something to make the knobs of the drawers. So Shift A, bring in a mesh. Let's bring in a cube. Let's bring that up a little bit. So GZ, and bring it up to 1 meter. So we know it's just going to sit on the bottom there like that. Let's do the base. Let's do the whole base before we do any of the drawers. So we are just going to technically, we don't know how the depth of it quite yet, but so we're going to do that as we work along. I'm going to say like I'm thinking of a rectangle in my head. So I'm going to press SX, let's scale that along the x-axis, let's say up to 5 meters either side, well 5 meters in total. And then I'm going to go into edit mode by pressing tab, press 3 for face select, select the top face and GZ. I'm going to bring that up to about 2.5. I have a habit of trying to keep the measurements in my head as I go along, mostly because keeping stuff symmetrical definitely helps, I find, in the building of things, if it's not exactly to scale per se. So I'm just going to press Control Z and undo that. I'm going to press GZ. I'm going to bring that up to about 3, I think. Yeah, I think that's okay. It's GZ. Just bring it up one more meter. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, I'm just going to push that back a bit further, the image, and just scale it up. There you go. That's fine. Right. Back into edit mode. I'm going to select the object. Press 3 for face select. GY. I'm actually going to select this face, this side, hold shift, select the other face, the other side, and then scale on the Y. This is because I just want to keep it in the center. So let's scale up to about 3. Okay, that depth don't look too bad. So let's keep it like that for now. Big giant cube. So back into object mode. Let's create the side bits and let's just run over the feet as well. So let's go into edit mode. We're going to add in a couple of edge loops. So let's put in 2 edge loops. Left click to confirm, right click to cancel, and then scale on the x-axis, pushing these to the side. Let's push that up to 2.5, roughly 2.75. Nah, actually I like 2.5. Personal preference. I think that'll do for now. And then 2 more edge loops. So it's Control R, cursor over to this edge, scroll wheel up, left click to confirm, right click to cancel, scale on the Y, push that again to say type in 2.5 on the numpad, and just press left click to confirm, right click to cancel. Okay, so these aren't going to be squares, but that's fine. We're going to make some feet at the bottom. Just looking at this, do you think we can get 2 drawers in there? It's quite short drawers. Actually, I think I want to extend this a bit further. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edge select this edge loop and this edge loop. Press Control X to dissolve. In face select, I'm just going to select these three faces and these three faces. And I'm just going to scale up on the x-axis to about 1.5. There you go, that's a bit better. So then let's add those edge loops back in. 2 edge loops, left click confirm, right click to cancel, scale on the X 2.5. Actually, no, let's just scale back on the X and try and make it like a square. Okay, I'm just going to do this by eye this time. So we're going to grab these 4 squares like so, and then I'm going to press E to extrude, bring that down to say about 1.1, and we're just going to make little feet for now. So that's fine for now. The top part of the desk, as you can see, we've got a lip coming off. We're going to add a top part. To do this, we are going to select the whole top faces. So we're going to hold, click in the top corner here, hold Shift and Control, and then just click once in the opposite corner. What that will do is select the entire area from corner to corner. We'll just press E to extrude. We're going to bring that up, say 0.5. I'm going to put in the 3D cursors, so I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to this selected, this face, and we're going to bring in another cube. So back into object mode, make sure everything's deselected. Shift Shift A, go to mesh, go to cube, and then GZ and bring that up 1 meter. I'm going to then scale that and press Shift Z. So that will now scale along the X and Y, like so. And we'll go into edit mode, face select, I'm going to push that down. So that's about minus 1.5. Yeah, that's good. And then I'm going to select this side and this side, and then just scale that up on the x-axis. Say 2.25. Let's see what that looks like. Not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. Just a bit of a lip. Didn't want too much. Didn't want too much there. So that'll be fine. Just estimating roughly. Actually, I'm going to press Control Z. Yeah, that's fine as it is. Right. So, what you can do is, if you wanted to make the edges round, what we could do is hold Shift Control and Alt, and just click once on these edges. That will select all the edges in a big circle going around the table, and we can press Control B to bevel. So press Control B, pull our cursor out, and then scroll wheel up, and we can actually round off the corners of the table. So I'm going to put 2 edge loop cuts in each, and I'm going to put a 0.2. See what that looks like. Yeah, that's good. The only thing when doing this, just take a look at your n-gons. Normally after when you do this, as you can see, the top face is a complete n-gon. N-gon is when it's more than 5 verts attached to a face. So what you have here, so to connect this, we'll just connect these up and keep it nice and simple for quads. So connect these 2 verts together, and you press J. And let's just select these 2 verts, press J, and then just these 2 here. So basically it should 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we've got 5 in the corner, so that's not too helpful, but that's fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to just select, and okay, that should do it. Alright, there you go. So we've got a nice quad topology here. So now you can see they're all quads, which is perfect. It's always good to do things in quads because it helps a lot for UV unwrapping and later on. Instead of, this is what I do, a little trick. So the bottom bit of the table here. So instead of doing it again on the bottom part of the table, I'll just delete the bottom face. I would then select all the faces on the top here, and then just press Shift D. Shift D, press Z, bring it down. Vertex select. I'm just going to make sure our snapping tool's on active and vertex. So at the top here, this is our little snapping tool. I'm going to just double click this vertex, make sure everything's still selected, and GZ, hold control, and then hover my cursor over where I want to snap it to. And there you go. When you do this, just keep in mind when you do duplicate meshes to the other side, just make sure when you want to look at your normals, as in your faces on which way it's facing. If I turn face orientation on, blue is the correct side up, red is the other side. So we'll just need to flip that, and to flip that you press Alt, oops, Alt N, sorry, Alt N to flip, and then we can either flip or recalculate outside. I like to recalculate outside so it knows which way to flip. So it knows the outside is blue, so that's good. So then we'll just make sure we turn the face orientation off. Okay, awesome. So that's the top bit of our table. You can see a little bit jagged, but you can just right click and shade smooth. And what we could also do is we go to edge select in edit mode and select our edges going all the way around. We can sharpen these, so when we do hit smooth, so right click, mark sharp, and then there you go. So you can see the table is nice and smooth, and then also the edges, and you can see the edges, which is pretty decent. Okay, right, let's go on to the drawers. So, and the reason I've done this separately, actually, I think would have been best to do it separately, because we'll be now doing edge loops around to make the drawers, and I believe it would be easier to do this. What we're also going to do is, what I was just thinking is, most of this we can just do the first three, or even the first one, and then we can mirror and duplicate it for the rest of the drawers to save some time. So, onto the chest of drawers, we're going to select back onto our chest, we're going to press tab, go into edit mode, and we're going to put in some edge loops. So in the center, so I'm going to press Control R, put one straight down the center, left click to confirm, right click to cancel. That will just place it there. And now we will put in some edge loops to make it look, to simulate that there's some drawers there. We might have to extend this maybe, make this look, pull it out a bit, but I'm just thinking, right. Okay, I'm gonna put, if I put in 2 edge loops there you go. I think that's good. I like that. So we're going to put 3 drawers here and 3 drawers here. So there is multiple ways to do it, but I'm also going to show you how to build the drawer inside and to make the runners as well. So we could select all these faces and then press I to invert. But as you can see, when you're inverting these faces, they're all together and all going into one place. However, if you press right click, press Ctrl Z and just undo, reselect this and press I, you should, oh, I was going to say you should have a pop-up menu in the bottom left corner, but Blender don't like me, and for some reason there's no menu that's come up. Oh no, it's because you have to left click to confirm, that's why. Now we have the menu up. So now we want to change from interpolate to individuals. And then when we do that, well, actually, we'll keep it on interpolate. So we just need to tick the individual because we want to make each individual the same as we're scaling it down for 1. So what we'll have to do is press Ctrl Z and go back and then do it again. So now press I and it should save the settings. And as you can see, you can now invert these. So we can put, say, 0.3. And now, say for example, we wanted to scale that up. If we scaled along the X, it's not going to quite scale correctly. So what you can do is up here, there's a little transform pivot point, we can actually do individual origins. What that means is every face is an individual origin. So now if we press scale on the X, you can see now you can actually scale that up all together like so. So if I put 1.5, that looks not too bad. But I'm actually going to Control Z and scale that at 1.55, just so it kind of looks, yeah, that looks not too bad. Okay, so what we could do is, when we make these drawers, so we've got basically a rough idea of what we're going to do now. So all we have to do is, I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to press, actually I'm going to select all three of these, and I'm going to press E to extrude, and push these in. As you can see, they're going all the way inside. So we don't go all the way to the back, I'm going to hold Control and select the vert that is right up here at the back of the drawer. So if I press number 1 for vertex mode, you can see with our snapping tool, when holding Control, will snap to that vert. That means that these will snap to that vert right at the back there. So we know that's inside the drawer and that's the depth of our drawers as well. So looking at this, I'm just starting to think actually, well, drawers seem to be a bit narrow, so I want to put some thickness on it. So I'm actually going to select, yeah, I'm going to see if I can select, yeah, the top face and this face, and then press scale on the Z, and, oh, changed up here, back from individual origins to medium point. So now if I scale along the Z, we should be able to push that down. But as you can see, you're going to get, might want to push that not too far, because your edges are going to be in the way. So there's multiple ways of doing this, and it's always good sometimes just to have a good play about with it before you settle on your workflow on making a certain piece of furniture. So after a few times doing this, I think the best way to do this would be to select, I want to select the inside here, and if you scaled that up and press Shift Y, so that'll cancel it on the Y, but it'll go up on the X and Y, on the X and Z axes. Let's just scale it up to, yeah, say about there. That's fine. That's not too bad there. And then I'm going to select on that top face and that bottom face, and then press Scale Z, and then just push to somewhere like that. So that's not too bad. That's okay. So we've got a bit of a lip there still as well. So the inside here, as you can see, here and here, are now completely different sizes. So what we could do is we can select these faces and delete them, and then we can press L to face select, and then press L on this, and just press X and delete faces. So what we could do is because we know this giant rectangle is in the same proportion for the rest of the two gaps below, we could now just select, go to vertex mode, and then just press G. Oops. I'm going to press face select and then right click, go to separate. Let's separate that, go into tab, go into edit mode, object mode, and then grab hold of the mesh and press Shift D and press Z. I'm going to bring that down. So duplicate it in object mode, because as you can see, if you was in edit mode and you was to grab this before we separated it, it would pull everything with it. So, and we're gonna make two of these. We're not gonna, just gonna put it there for now. So let's join this all back up together. So click on it, click on them all. Press Shift, click on them all, right click and join. Now if we go into edit mode, I know to select each piece we've just created, we can actually just hover over it and press L. So L will select the whole piece because it's all attached together. So let's select the correct one. So it's the middle one. I'm going to press number 1 for vertex select. Shift click the top corner, just hold G, press G and hold Control and snap that in the corner like so. And then we're going to do the same again on this one. So press 3 for face select, L, 1 for vertex select, Shift, click on the vertex, press G to move, and then hold Control to snap that into place. As you can see, we can now snap them all nicely into place, and they're all equal. Of course, if you wanted to do before you duplicated the top one, you could always add seams in it, and you can polish this up before duplicating it, just saving you an extra bit of work. Now what we could do is we could now delete these entire faces on this side, and if we press L on these and then separate by selection, so that is together and in one object, we could now, if we selected this edge, and this edge, and just press, well, it doesn't matter which edge actually because it's all the same, just one edge, press Shift S, cursor to selected, so it'll go to that specific edge because it's still on the y-axis, and you can always check by your up here on your where is it? Yeah, item. You can see, as you can see, that's 0 on the x. That means on the x-axis going left to right is on the 0. That means we know when we go back into object mode and then right click, set origin to 3D cursor, the origin will go to the 3D cursor, and now we can mirror this side to the other side. So over to our modifiers, I'm going to close that, add a modifier, generate a mirror, and it's mirrored on the x-axis by default. So there we have it. We mirrors straight over to the other side, saving you some time. Let's just confirm that mirror, and then we'll go into edit mode, and as you can see, everything seems to be very nice so far. Now, doing some runners on the inside also would have been a good idea to do that before duplicating these, as I was just thinking about it, but that's fine. There is another way as well, I'm going to show you. Instead of pressing Shift D to duplicate, you can press Control D. No, I think it's Alt D. It's it's very rare I use it, but that's to do with linking. I'll probably go over that in another lesson, because it's a bit more advanced and it could be. It's a lot to get your head around, but it even confuses me sometimes. But for now, what we can do is we can stick in some rollers on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these two faces. I'm going to press I and then I'm going to press Z. No, I don't have to press Z. I'm just going to press I and then bring these down to something like 0.75. Actually, I've got a better idea. I'm going to press Control Z, go back, and I'm going to press Control R. I'm going to stick edge loops around the middle. Or, no, okay, this might be a bit too messy on the same object. So it's always good to keep in mind having separate objects in your model or separate meshes is not a bad idea, because you can always join them at the end, but they don't have to be connected, if that makes sense. So I'm actually going to press Shift S, bring a 3D cursor to here, press Tab, Shift A, bring in a mesh. Let's bring in a cube. And we're actually going to bring this and we're going to make a roller on the side. So let's scale that down to 0.15 and then scale that on the x-axis to 0.15 and then scale that again on the y-axis. Let's go into edit mode. We're going to select the front face here. I'm going to press GY, hold control, snap it to that vertex, and then at the back here of the draw, I'm just going to click on that back face and press GY and also snap it to that back vertex. So we're not going to see that back face, so I'm going to just delete that back face for now. And the front face I'm going to leave like that. But inside, I'm going to try and grab the side face inside. If you're struggling to get inside the object to grab something, not a problem. You could just hit wireframe or X-ray up the top here, and then because you've got it selected, look for the tiny little black dot which indicates the face. You can just select on that and then click back out of your X-ray mode, and then just press GY and then GX, sorry, and then just snap it to the vertex to align it to. So now we're going to add in 2 more edge loops. So let's put in 2 edge loops here. Scale on the Z, push that up. So 1.5. Yeah, I'll do. And then we're going to grab, actually put another 2 more edge loops. And then I'm going to confirm that and scale on the y-axis and just push those to the side. About 2.85 or something like that. And then I'm just going to click inside this one face and then press E to extrude, and I'm just going to push that about, if I go to there, right to the back, that's minus 15, 0.15. So I'm just thinking, let's just go minus 0.1, so that's fine for now. So there we go, we have one little side roller for now. Let's duplicate that now on the other side. So judging where the center is from this side to over here, I'm going to select this bottom face, or we can select these 2 faces, press Shift S, cursor to selected, go into object mode, select on our object we want to mirror, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and then add modifier, generate mirror, and then it will generate on the x-axis because that is the x-axis we are currently on. And then voila, we've got our rails there so far. We can now press Shift D to duplicate them and put them down below. Or what you could do, let's confirm that mirror. Let's select our drawers, and I'm going to select this one edge, and I'm going to do it again. Shift S, cursor to selected, tab, select the railing, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, add add a mirror modifier, and this time we want to take X off and go onto Z, and there you go. It will mirror exactly below, and then you can do the same again. Oh, excuse me. You can then do it same again and bring the rollers down on the ground. So we'll confirm that. We will need to separate these, otherwise it will duplicate too many. Or we could just mirror anyway. So 3D cursor to there, click in our object, set origin to 3D cursor, add a mirror modifier, mirror, turn X off, put Z, and then confirm our mirror modifier. Go into edit mode, and let's just select these 2 bottom ones and delete them. So that's just pressing L on them, and then just delete like so. And then, same again, but on the other side. So you can select this one edge that we did earlier, Shift S, cursor selected, select our rollers, right click, set origin, origin to 3D cursor, again mirror modifier, and then it'll automatically mirror on the x-axis. And then before you even notice, you've done like all this work for about 1/6 of the time instead of doing it one by one. The mirror modifier is very helpful on symmetrical items. It can help you in many, many ways. So I thought this was a good demonstration. Now, we want to make the draw. So, let's make one draw, and then what we'll do is we'll then mirror it again. So, I'm going to select the inside of this, inside here, and I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate these faces, right click to cancel, and then right click and separate as selection. So we're going to create a separate object. Oh, I forgot what object it was we just created. Okay, cube 004. Don't be afraid to rename your items as you go along. You can just press F2 on your keyboard, and you can just call them whatever you like. I'll just call that draw. We can call these rollers, and then you don't get confused in your scene collection up here. So with the draw selected, what I'm going to do is, because it's got no face on at the moment, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to go into edit mode and select it all. And I'm going to scale that down on the x-axis and bring that in a bit. Now I'm going to bring it into say 0.9. Yeah, 0.9 seems to be okay. And I want to take this top bit, this top face off. There you go. What we're going to do is with this, I'm going to press GY and I'm going to bring that out, say -6, and we're going to work on the draw just like this for now. So first things first, let's create a front face. So we're going to select these 3 edges in edit mode and just press F to fill. That will just fill and give us a front face. What we're going to do is I'm just going to press Shift D and duplicate this, and then press right click to cancel, and then just scale it down. At least that is going to be equal all the way around, which is absolutely fine. So let's add, say, about that much thickness on. Actually, just to scale 0.9. Probably a bit too thick there, actually. So scale, say, 0.95. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Okay, yeah, that'll do. I'm going to delete that face, and I'm going to press E to extrude this. Come up to these edges, hold Control, snap them in, and then what I'm going to do is press E again and extrude it back down and snap back down to the vertex in the bottom corner. This is just another way around it because I've completely forgotten. You're supposed to be able to invert it with going the edges being all the same, but I can't remember what the correct button it was for that, so forgive me for that. So anyway, for now, I'm going to delete that face. So we've still got the bottom face there. So as you can see, we can select this edge and press F. And then we can select this top edge and just press F. No, we can't. So we just select each edge here and then just press F to fill. And then the same again on the bottom. So now we have a thickness for our drawers. There you go, going all the way around. We'll just press A to select all, and then press M and merge vertices. What that'll do is, because I know there was faces inside of each other, that'll be the bottom surface. So I'm just going to press Alt N and just reset the vectors. Resetting vectors is good for later on when you notice some tearing in your geometry. It definitely helps. So, okay, so now we've got this far. What we could do is we press GY and just push that back, say about 2 meters. If we look at the rollers, so we can add some rollers and we can stick them on the side of the drawer. As we can see, there's a bit of Z clipping there. That will be the shelf. And what we could do about that is actually we can select the whole drawer as we currently have selected and press scale on the Z axis and just shrink that down just a little bit. So 0.95. That should be a perfect amount of space and gap to make the drawer slide in and out. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to grab these rollers, go into edit mode. I'm going to select edge select that and edge select that one by pressing L. I'm going to right click and separate selection. Go into object mode. I'm going to duplicate these rollers and press Shift D. Just gonna press Shift Z, so I'm just going to move that along the Y and X axis just like so. So as you can see, we are going to change these around. So we want this one over here and then this one over here, but we kind of want it slightly different, but we will use these for now. So let's grab this drawer. It hasn't got any modifiers on, that's okay. So edit mode on this, we're going to select this roller, and what we're going to do is we want to snap it into place into the center of the drawer. I'm actually just going to move that out of the way and select this one, press G, Shift Z, and just move this over here. We want to snap it like into the center of this drawer, or into the center of where the other uh, roller guides are. To do that, we could just press 1 for vertex, select this vertex, press G, hold control and snap it to that one. And then what we could do is we could grab the drawer and then we could select it, select the front face, and then press GY and hold control and snap it to the front vertex of our roller. Don't worry, I know it's a little bit, it's not quite touching, but that's absolutely fine. That's exactly how we want it, because what we will do now is select our roller here. In edit mode, let's select that and press G, X, hold control, and just snap that on the X axis to that vertex. So now the back is now on that. So we want to add like a cut. Maybe you might want to add a couple of wheels in. Come to think about it, depends what kind of drawer it is. You could just have there's different types of mechanisms you can use for roller drawers. The ones over here in the UK, we normally have wheels on. They go in, they roll in, and I know there's some that just have like plastic sliding ones in. So really, you don't have to make it high detail. You can just fake it to make it, sort of thing. So for now, I'm just going to leave it like that, and let's grab this one. I'm going to select this vertex and press G and then hold control and snap it to this one. But then I know it's now in line, but if I press GX again and then snap it to that vertex, and now it goes straight into position. So that's not too bad. We can now add this to the drawer. So holding into object mode, we can just right click join. So now that could just join straight onto the drawer. Let's add the knob on the front. So let's select the front face. I'm going to press Shift S, go to cursor to selected, go back into object mode. Let's go Shift A, mesh and UV sphere. Let's rotate the UV sphere. Should I rotate it? Depending if you wanted a bit of a stalk coming off the knob or not, you could rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees, and then when we scale that down, say 0.3, there's a lot of topology on it. So what I would actually do is when I bring it in, what you can do when you bring in object, Shift A, UV sphere, you have a little menu panel up here. Let's change this down to 8 segments and hit enter. And then you have rings, and then change that down to 4. Okay, that's not too bad. That's nice low poly. So let's rotate that on the x-axis, 90 degrees. Once you start editing the model, your little panel down here will disappear. So it's always good to edit it before you start moving or resizing your objects. So this is not too bad. So we can actually go into edit mode. We can delete these back faces here. They're actually triangles. We don't like those. We can edge select the back of the knob. We can scale that down, and we could either push that up a little bit, maybe, and then E to extrude along the y-axis just to create a bit of a neck. And then what we could do, we could just scale it down to say 0.35 maybe, GY, and then what we can do is to make sure it's lined up in the middle. There's multiple ways to see, but we could just put the 3D cursor in the center, which is exactly how we brought the object in originally, so we know it is in the center. So same again, we can select our object in edit mode and press G, Y, hold control, snap it to a corner, and we know that is now snapped to the front of the drawer. We can just come back into object mode, right click and shade smooth. Then we have a knob for the drawer. If it's too big, no worries, we can scale that down and then just GY snap that in place. I would personally sort these out because these are tries. If it's an FBX model, it's not too bad. If you're going to use it in Unity, that's absolutely fine because they use tries in Unity. Or FBX files are tri-mesh, are triangles. So if you did want this to be quad, you could just select the vertex in the middle, press Control Shift B. Yeah, Control Shift B. You could. What it does is it selects the vert and it creates a face, and then you can scroll wheel in and out to add in edge loops, but we don't want to do that. We just want to make a single face like so, say 0.09, and then what you could do here is just connect 2 verts up, and then another 2 verts up, and then voila, you got your quad topology, nice and simple. And then what we could do is we could always just bring that out a little bit, and voila, that is a nice quad created knob. That's now attached to the drawer. So let's hold shift and right and click on the drawer, right click and join. So now we have the drawer. I think was that connected or not? Yeah, it was, okay. So now let's press GY. We'll push that back in. As you can see, we'll need to add a sort of like a nice trim to the front of the drawer maybe, so it covers up the sides. That's not a problem. What we could do is for that, we'll bring that, bring that about 5 meters. So we could absolutely do that. And to do that, to make sure we keep it nice and symmetrical as well, we're going to select the insides of the drawers that we did earlier, the inside cabinet bit. Go to tab, we're going to select these faces. I'm going to press Shift D and then press Y, hold Control and snap it to the vertex on the front like so. I'm going to right click and then separate this, and then I'm going to select on that and then click on the drawer, right click, join. So I'm just going to pull that back out again, so -3. And what we're going to do is we're going to add this to the drawer, and we're going to fill in these gaps like so. So to do that, let's first things first, let's add let's just fill up the gap. So selecting the top, I'm just going to press G because we don't want to extrude it, so we just want to press GZ, snap it down to that vertex on that edge, and that should be absolutely fine going all the way across. Bottom edge, GZ, hold control, snap to that vertex. And the same on these side edges, GX, hold control, snap to there, click on that, GX, snap to there. Okay, so now we have our little drawer front piece. What we're going to do is from here is we're going to now make it a separate piece because we want to add a solidifier. If we added a solidifier to this, it will solidify everything, but we don't quite want to do that. So again, we're going to now separate it. Go to Add Modifier, Generate Solidify. We want to add a thickness to it, so let's add a bit of a thickness. Say 1. No, not 1. It's 0.1. And I'd say the offset, if I put it on 0, it's going to come forwards a bit, and then it's going to cover up the roller. And what it could also do, you could simulate a nice pattern either in the middle here, which could come in handy as well. So there's not too much extruding going on, but you can actually kind of fake it using the front panel of the drawer. And your thickness, let's just say, let's go up to about 14. 14 is right. So that looks about good. That looks good to me. Alright, so we can apply the solidify and then click on our front bit of the drawer, shift click the actual drawer, right click and join. Now if we press GY, and we can now just slide that back into place. What we could do is go into edit mode, select all, press number 1, select that vert, press GY and hold control, and again snap it right in the corner like so. So we now know this entire drawer is quite snug and it's nice inside. So when you pull it out, we have a nice little sliding drawer. Now, same again, what we did earlier is we'll just use the mirror modifier to mirror this going down and across, or we can go across and go down. There's no specific way. So let's just, first things first, actually I got a better idea. Instead of using a mirror modifier, might be because we've already selected this top one up here, we can actually press Shift D and then hold Control and snap it to that vertex. Shift D, snap it to that vertex. Now this is quicker, however, each time you do that, you may want to separate the drawer, because otherwise you're pulling all your drawers out. If you want them to animate in like VR chat, or you wanted to add like rigid bodies to them so you can pull them out and throw them around the room, you'll definitely need to separate them and add bones in. But that comes in a later lesson. So when you've done that, what you could do is, again, select on this panel. Let's just click on that vertex because we know that's in the center. Shift S, cursor to selected, tab, select the drawers, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and again, add modifier, generate mirror, automatically on the x-axis, and boom. There is your lovely drawers. We can confirm the mirror modifier, and as you can see, they are all one object. So there is a way you can separate them all. This might separate it into different parts, but I'm going to show you a way anyway. So press tab into object mode, GY, we're going to bring that out to -6, and we're going to right click this one object, and we're going to go to, no sorry, we're going to press P, no, go to edit mode, select all, and press P. And we're going to separate by loose parts. Now watch your scene collection up the top here now go crazy. So we'll do P by loose parts. Okay, so it's selected it's it's made every single part we've used, oops, into separate parts, which can come in handy in most projects. But like for now, it's not quite so handy because now you have to join them all back up. So I'm going to press Control Z a few times and go back. So what we're going to do is, before we, duplicated it, you could have duplicated each one and made it separate each then. So I'm going to go all the way back. So here we are. Here is our first draw we done, and that is a separate object. So I'm going to press Shift D. I'm going to press Z, bring that down, bring it down -2, because I believe that is actually the correct measurement. And that is why sometimes I use the correct measurements, because it definitely helps later on, like now, for example. So again, press Shift D, Z, and go down -2, and then GY, and as you can see, that looks like it is a perfect fit. And then on the same on the other side, let's see if it's a perfect measurement. If we duplicate this and then press GX, do we have a perfect round number? Yes, we do. 7 meters. So that, oh no, not quite. Right, not a problem. That's absolutely fine though, because what we could do is let's delete that drawer. We could select all of these drawers, press Shift D, press X, move them all along, go into edit mode, press number 1, vertex select, click on this vertex, press G, hold control, snap to that, and then come back into object mode, and there you go. You have all your drawers now separated. As you can see, the origin point is floating in Narnia, so you definitely want to put that either in the center of your drawer, or for example like Banter or other VR platforms. I know VR Chat has a specific pull point, I think, but you may want to put the origin point like on the knob. So to do that, again, you put 3D cursor where you want the origin point, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. And then obviously from here, then it'll be good to duplicate it. But what you can do in object mode, you can select everything, right click, set origin to geometry, and it will just go to the center of the geometry. Okay, so this is the end of the how to make the chest of drawers for this lesson. I hope it has been helpful, and I will catch you in the next lesson. Feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.